Okay, I've got my laptop set up, and you'll have to forgive my voice. I've been breathing smoke for the last 2 days, thanks to the fires up north, plus the air pollution already in the air. So we'll have to deal with that. I'm also not editing anything, so any ahs or ohs or ums just gonna be part of the presentation. So what am I presenting? I'm going to start a writing project, and what I'm going to start is a short story. I don't know how long it will be, or what ideas I might have for it, or what it might turn into. I've got my Scrivener open, which is my preferred writing tool. There are others. I might try a few. I have the format as short story, and I don't anticipate anything more than one continuous through line, maybe 10,000 words. And let's just see what happens. So, the idea that I had was a futuristic dystopian world. And maybe this world has a private eye, and maybe he's the last private eye. So maybe we start out with that, and let's get into better mode here. So what I like to do is turn the paper width up about that far, and I think I prefer the text mode to be at 200, the scale, and that should be good. Okay. First line. First line's important whether you're writing a short story, a long story, a poem. You can really grab the reader right off the bat if you do a really good first sentence. First sentence, first paragraph, first page. So, how do we start? Well, we can start with a traditional start. That's something on the keyboard there. What think the detective since he's the last private eye. Last private eye in a dystopian future. The name is Norman. The name is Norman. It used to be Norman 98722-W. Okay, the name is Norman. It used to be Norman 98722-W. That's because I was part of a cluster. The clusters became less and less as we wore out and parts from the home world became sparse. And sometimes it's worth thinking about something before you type it. Sometimes it's worth typing it just to see where it goes. Ray Bradbury said, write. Don't think, write. Well, that's not a bad philosophy. And I'm certainly writing in a genre with which he was highly adept. Science fiction, fantasy. So, let's see. The metronomic sound you hear, that's my heartbeat. I have a valve that's mechanical, And so, you hear that? I'm still working. I'm still living. I'm a mechanical man. I'm stuck because I don't know whether I want to say, maybe I want to make this a retro feeling science fiction story, or maybe I want to make it a little more futuristic. So I could say this artificial life form is working on Mars because many, many stories have been placed on Mars, but we know a lot about Mars now. So maybe I want to set it on a planet which hasn't been discovered yet, or a planet that could hold life, but we haven't visited. So that would require a little research on my part. Up with the research. Inhabitable. Planets in the Milky Way. I have a real hard time lately because everybody's foisting AI on me, and it gets really very frustrating. I still want to do some work myself. Would you like this to write it for you? No! I shouldn't do that. My voice isn't that strong. And even Google is saying, let's do a AI summary. So there's Reddit. Okay. Wikipedia. There we go. I pay for Wikipedia, so I give them a stipend each month because I do use Wikipedia quite a bit. Just seeing what there is to see. I'm wondering, let's call it a I don't know how thick in the weeds I want to get. And that's something too. I mean, I could go with description of the planet right off the bat, that would probably be boring as hell. But let's not do that. Let's say, okay, what have I written? The name is Norman. It used to be Norman 98722-W. That's because I was part of a cluster. The clusters became less and less as we wore out, and parts from the home world became sparse, and repairmen died getting here too. So, we broke down, we rusted, we were scrapped, so we broke down, we rusted, we were scrapped, and I had the same fate until last autumn. That might work better as a separate sentence. I had the same fate until last autumn. See, I work on a planet some 2,000 light years from the birth of all in the galaxy, so far as is known. It's a planet that was known as Earth. Again, spell checker trying to help me by finishing words makes me have to back up and say, no, I meant this word. Okay. See, I work on a planet some 2,000 light years from the birth of all life in the galaxy so far as is known. It's a planet that was known as Earth. It became uninhabitable. Okay, see what you think. The name is Norman. It used to be Norman 98722-W. That's because I was part of a cluster. The clusters became less and less as we wore out, and parts from the homeworld became sparse, and repairmen died getting here too. Still don't like that sentence. Let's pare it down. Try that. The clusters became less and less as we wore out. Parts from the home world became sparse. Parts and sparse. The clusters became less and less as we wore out. Parts from the home world became hard to procure, and repairmen died getting here. So we broke down, we rusted, we were scrapped. I had the same fate until last autumn. Okay, so now I've set up an element of the story with that last sentence. I had the same fate until last autumn, and I'll come back to that. Second paragraph. See, I work on this planet some 2,000 light years from the birth of all life in the galaxy so far as we know. Ugh, that's a long sentence. It's a planet that was known as Earth. It became uninhabitable years ago. I never visited, but I hear from tourists that it was a beautiful world with bright blue skies, dark blue. Let's make it dark blue. Dark blue oceans, lush forests, and it teemed with all manner of life, both flora and fauna. So there's another little hint about how far we are in the future. Excuse me while I take a drink. Well, where do I want to go from here? Maybe maybe I want to delay who's talking until the third paragraph. You see, these are the challenges of a writer right off the bat is, where do I want to put this? Where do I want to put that? When I was writing when I was a kid, you'd have paper and a pen or a pencil. Pencil would have been better, because then you could erase on the paper that you had without writing anew on a new piece of paper, or scratching it out and writing above or below, and you'd have to figure out what the hell you were doing. If you want to know what that's like, go look at Bram Stoker's original notes for Dracula, because they have them, and you can see where he wants to go and where he doesn't want to go. There's all sorts of notation. These days, you can copy and paste, and you don't end up tearing a hole in your paper when your eraser gets down to the nub. Okay, well, I've now distracted myself from what I was doing. I've written 132 words, and not sure about how much time has elapsed, but I'm betting I'm behind my average. I forgot to set a timer for myself. That's okay. It's going to be a short story, so I won't finish it today, but I will do something with it in the future. It's enough that I got this much down and that I'm on my way. Okay.